Hey everyone, Jeremy here. It is Thursday night and we're going to create some art. It's going to be awesome. Hopefully you guys had a good week. It's been a very long week for me. I had like a lot of things that I was trying to accomplish this week. I had the sick kitty that I had to take to the vet. It's just been really stressful. So it's nice to kind of unwind with you guys on a Thursday night and kind of take it easy and just do a drawing. Um, I look forward to these sessions every single time. So I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I think tonight, might be a little familiar for some of you guys. I do like drawing horses a lot. There we go. If you've ever seen me draw a horse and stuff, this might be a little bit boring for you, but I wanted to draw a horse tonight and kind of have some fun with like a smoky effect. I wanted to see if I could pull that off without making it look too manufactured. I kind of wanted to like make it look a little natural and just have some fun with smoke effects. So if that's your thing, great. You can hang out with me and chat. If that's not your thing, you can just chat with me anyway. But otherwise, I'm going to jump right into it. Got a couple people in the room already. Let's see. Here we go. Got a couple people in the room already. We got Rome Dog. We got Kid. We've got Okay Larry. Kid asked how is Archer. Archer's doing great. So when I took him to the vet, they said that he had some bad stuff with his liver. He actually has what is it, jaundice, where your skin turns a little yellow. So I was really, really concerned, and he wasn't eating or anything like that. But we've got him on some medicine. He's eating now, and he's doing phenomenal. Like he's playing around and stuff like that. He wasn't doing any of that stuff. One other housekeeping thing, I probably should have mentioned it before I jumped in here. I wanted to let all the people who know, like in Florida or any place affected by the hurricane that's coming up or is going on now, be safe. There's no need to risk your life and stuff. If they tell you to evacuate, evacuate. Anyway, that's all I got. I'm gonna jump right in. Oh, the other good news is, I wear this Team Olivia shirt all the time. I think I'm going to retire it because she has gone through her last surgery and she is doing great. um, you're never really cured, I don't think, of that kind of stuff, but you are considered healthy. So I am going to. I think I think she's fine enough where I can let it go. And she thanks all the support from everybody over the past. What's it been? Year and a half, 2 years? It's been a long time. But yeah, she's got all her surgery done. She's got a clean bill of health. So I am happy to report that for those of you who were following along. So it's all good news. So in case you're wondering what I'm doing here, I'm trying something a little bit different where I'm just going to use this stick of charcoal and put in some shadows to get us started. And then I'm going to try to do some wispy stuff with like my blending stump. See how it goes. Just want to get an idea of where the horse is on this page. So I think the horse's face is going to be over here. Get an idea of just kind of scribbling it in. Yeah, thanks, Larry. I appreciate that. Thank you, kid. Larry, basically, you're the one I'm talking about as far as like Florida goes. Like, please be safe. I used to live in Central Florida for a little while. I think I've mentioned that before. In the time that I lived there, we went through a few hurricanes. They weren't too bad. I think this one's supposed to be pretty bad. So I know that whenever we have bad weather around here, everybody reaches out. So I wanted to make sure that everybody out there kind of does the same. Do you guys live in one of those houses where you have the things that go over your windows? Like I always thought that was kind of cool. Like I guess shutters or whatever they are. They're not like the things that fold in. They're like literally canopies that come down. I think that's like pretty common in Florida. Because you guys go through like a lot of bad weather. But you also have a lot of good weather too during the summer. When it's not hurricaning, you guys got pretty nice weather down there. A little bit jealous. I think back here. Anyway, I think that's probably where I want this horse to be. So now I'm just gonna kind of just wisp around a little bit as I kind of fill this out. I used to draw these charcoal pictures where it was just a bunch of scribbles, and then I would try to find a face in it or, an animal in it. I like doing those. Just kind of enjoy just dancing on the page. There you go. That's a good way to look at it. Just dancing on the page. All right. So now that I got that kind of squared away, I think I have an idea where I want the horse. All right. So now I'm going to use my blending stump, and I'm just going to kind of like go in here and kind of create this smoke. Some of it's going to be dark. Some of it's going to be really light. And I just kind of want to like just kind of scribble on the page a little bit. I don't know where this is going to go, but I'm confident that I will get a picture out of this of some sort. But we're not doing like the paintbrush or the any of those kind of effects. We're just going for like this kind of smoky look. Seeing how that goes. But I think it would be kind of cool to like just kind of have this like almost ghost horse coming out of like I don't know, like a not a fire. I don't want that horse to be on fire, but coming out of the ether. There we go. But yeah, I appreciate you guys asking about Archer. Archer's doing great. Like I am I'm so happy. He was actually playing with the bug earlier, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Because I was worried. Like earlier in the week, um, he had been getting a little skinny, but I thought maybe he just didn't like the cat food I was giving him. So I was a little bit worried about him, but I wasn't too worried until I went to the vet, and the vet's like, "Oh, did you notice this yellow discoloration?" And I'm like, "No, I didn't notice that." I felt like a terrible parent who was like neglectful or something that he got so sick without me noticing. But that's how it goes. Sometimes, I mean, it's not like the animals can tell you how they feel. Um, so you know, I feel bad. I feel really bad because like I don't know if he was in any pain or anything, but he was obviously not well. So I was really concerned. Took him to the vet. The vet gave him a bunch of medication. I hate giving him the medication too. It's the kind of stuff you squirt down his throat. I feel terrible about that. I feel like I don't want to be the bad cop, giving him the medication to where he doesn't want to hang out with me. But he seems to be okay. I think he knows that like the medication's good for him, but he's not happy with it. But yeah, he wasn't eating anything at all. Um, he wasn't eating the dry cat food. So I'm like, I bought him some wet cat food. He ate a little bit of that, but then he wouldn't eat any of that for a while. And I'm like, man, this sucks. Like, if I can't get him to eat wet cat food, like, what can I do? So I went off and bought some tuna, and he kind of ate that a little bit, but not very much. So when your cat doesn't eat tuna, you know he's sick. But now he's eating like a champ. I'm very happy with that kitty. He's such an adorable kitty too. He's so cute. Um, we were supposed to get another 5 inches of rain tonight. Yikes! The lights are already starting to flicker, and the wind hasn't even started yet. Yeah, hopefully. So you be safe too, kid. I know that that the storms ain't no joke. And if anybody has to stop watching this to seek shelter and stuff, totally go for it. Like, when there's a bad storm going around, I don't even show up for this thing. So I expect you guys to be safe as well. So as you can see, I'm just kind of like sketching all over the page, trying to create some shadow and stuff. I'm not I'm not too worried about the direction this is going. I know that no matter how it goes, I'll be able to pull a decent picture out of it when I start putting in some details. But right now, I'm just kind of mapping out where the horse is and getting kind of a sense of some smoke going. 5 inches. That is crazy. Keep watching the satellite pictures and see bands passing over, but we've had very little rain. Oh, that's good. There's a lake back here too. And I think that lake kind of comes down to about right here. I love drawing horses, by the way. I draw so many of them. I again, I preface the beginning of this is might be a little boring for those who watch me regularly, just because like I don't know, you've seen me draw horses before, but I really enjoy it. I live in horse country, so the people around here they expect you to be able to draw a good horse. So I need to. I do need to practice drawing horses every now and then, whether I want to or not. But it's never a chore for me. I love drawing horses. Like again, I like I said, it's been a long week, so I'm here to unwind. Whenever I want to unwind, I draw a horse. They're so relaxing to draw for me. I don't know. Some people stress over horses. Some people, for some people, horses are like one of the most difficult things that they can draw. They do have like these weird shapes to them. So like if you're not used to drawing horses, if you're not used to seeing horses on a regular basis like I am, um, I can see it being challenging. I think it's been a little while, but I think the first couple of horses I drew, it was pretty challenging. Um, they're not creatures that come naturally to draw. First off, the proportions are hard to get right. So like I usually start off by kind of measuring things out and giving myself some guidelines to go by, so that when I come in and start working on getting the horse in there, it's not totally out of proportion. I have done some horses in the past that were like too short or too long of a neck or too stubby of a neck. And the weird thing about horses is you can draw them in the wrong proportion and they probably look like one of the breeds, just because horses come in all different shapes and sizes. Um, there are horse breeds where their face is kind of distorted and weird looking. So don't beat yourself up too bad if you draw a weird looking horse. It's only it's only like the thoroughbreds that look like proportionally perfect, and nobody expects you to be perfect at drawing horses if you're just getting started anyway. Kid says, Jeremy, Geppetto is casting a spell. I think he's trying to turn it into a coffee Sasquatch. I considered doing a Sasquatch. I know that the other day you requested Sasquatch. I'm not saying that I'm not going to do a Sasquatch, because I might. I just didn't. I wasn't up to it tonight, but there might be a Sasquatch in the future. Um, Sasquatch, you can't just do a half a Sasquatch, right? You gotta go full Sasquatch. If you just did like the face of a Sasquatch, it's probably gonna look a bit like a gorilla with like maybe a little bit longer hair or something. You have to draw the full body, and you probably have to show them in movement, almost like the what is it? I want to say Robert Pattinson, but it's not Robert Pattinson. Some Patterson film from the '80s where they filmed the Bigfoot walking across that field. It's the famous Bigfoot picture that everybody likes to bring up. Anyway, that you have to draw a Bigfoot in that kind of motion in order to be able to pull it off, I think. Otherwise, it's only half of Bigfoot. You never draw half a Bigfoot. You gotta go full Bigfoot. Hey Lorraine, how's it going? Yeah, horses. You know, again, different people they're gonna struggle. All I can say is just he is casting a spell, isn't he? That's funny. I never know what position to put him in. I just like to have fun with Geppetto. Anyway, yeah. So like, I feel like anybody can draw horses if they practice, but yeah, it is a bit challenging at first, just because they're so they have such weird characteristics. I think. Let me see if I can get this in here. See what I can do with this. Again, I don't want to spend too much on the scribble effect, but I do want to get some dark areas in here. And I want the whole picture to be kind of like loose. So when I put in these little effects here, I'm going to blend it out almost immediately, I think. I do like scribbling with charcoal. I ain't gonna lie. I love, again, like I said, I've done many a picture where I just kind of scribble and see what comes of it. It's a lot of fun for me. I love charcoal. Charcoal is great. Not everybody likes charcoal. That's fine. I know some artists all they like is markers because it's hard to get messy with markers. I like it messy. Of course, you can do digital and like no mess whatsoever, but I like to get messy. Larry. And again, you can see I'm just making like not really controlled marks, but I mean, they're kind of controlled, but they're not meant to look controlled, you know? Like they are meant to make it to look loose and kind of random, but they're not, you know, like this with I guess the knee of the horse and stuff, you know, there is some shadow on that. I think that is challenging to draw a well not really because sorry, I keep second guessing myself. I would say that it's challenging to draw a horse in a loose style. But not really, because like horses are meant to be in like motion. You don't really want to draw horses that are just like standing still. I mean, you can, but they're not as dynamic, I guess. I think that's the word. You know, kind of want kind of want horses to be moving. But the anatomy under it, you know, like you've got you've got basically like a nasal bone or whatever it is that kind of comes down. You know, things kind of slope in towards that. You got these chubby cheeks on the horses. They got to get this little round area and stuff. But there's all these muscles in the face. Like if you were drawing like a close up of the face, which I've done in the past, it could get a little challenging. It really could. Blend all this stuff in so that I have a nice little surface here. It doesn't take a long time to get a recognizable horse either. Like if you want like a lot of details and stuff, that takes a little while. But just to get something that resembles a horse for you to work with, that comes pretty quick. Which is good because like horses aren't going to just sit around and let you draw them. Like if you're out on a farm or something like that and you want to draw a horse, you have to be able to capture it pretty quick. Hey, Huli, how's it going? Um, Kid says, Jeremy, if Ben can do half a beard, you can do half a Sasquatch. That is wild. I hope everybody got a chance to watch Ben's live stream. He he shaved half his face, so he's got like a beard on this side. Yeah, he has a beard on this side, mustache on this side, and the other half is missing. He had spent um, what's it? It's almost I don't know. It feels like it's been a year. It's been at least 9 months. He spent as much time as it takes to birth a baby birthing that beard, and then he went off and carved half of it off. I think that's amazing. But anyway, it's super funny. Sound is not bad, but not as clear as usual. Oh, the audio on here is not as clear as usual. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, I don't know, like if my audio is turned down or something. It could it could be that my audio is off. I apologize. If anybody else is having trouble with the audio, let me know. I don't know what I could do about it. I can maybe tinker with it a little bit, but that's one of those things that you kind of have to do offline. So I will do better for next time. How's that? But yeah, I just kind of want to have all of this like just kind of smoky, but just going all over the place. Scribbled like. Hey, Lorraine, you still following that Project Skydrop? I think that's really cool. I like how it's shaping out. Um, if anyone is in central Massachusetts or can get to central Massachusetts sometime this weekend, because I really don't think it's going to last. I think skydrop.com, for those who aren't familiar with it, I think that's going to be found either this weekend or certainly by Monday. Because like yesterday really gave a lot of information away. So like um, if you are if you are planning on spending some time with that, now's the time because yesterday it rained and that kind of gave away a lot of information about where that thing is located because not every place in the search area was under rain. Like you can almost track it, not perfectly, but you can kind of figure out where things might be. Um, so it is my opinion, and if you are actually going and you want some like actual specific places to check out, let me know. But it is my opinion that it's going to be in northern central Massachusetts. What did I say Massachusetts earlier or did I say Maine? I meant to say Massachusetts. Anyway, northern central Massachusetts is where I think that is. There is a gigantic reservoir in the middle of Massachusetts, like it looks like a big old lake. It will be in the vicinity of that for sure. So if you guys can get out there and find that thing, it is worth it's like worth $30,000, something like that. There's a there's the actual price of the object itself and like in melt value of gold. That's about 30,000. And then you also get a bounty, and that's racking up there in price. I think you get half the bounty, and then the people who created the treasure hunt they get the other half. Maureen says, really, I have relatives that I could send, but it seems like people with clues will get. I don't know. Like I've seen some of the pictures of the overhead. For those who don't know, there's like this chalice. It's made out of gold, and they put it out in the woods, and they have a drone. And every day the drone goes a little bit higher, or like these are probably pre-shot pictures, but the drone goes a little bit higher, exposing more of the search area, and from that you can kind of figure out where it is theoretically over time. But so far, it's not really showing that much of the ones that I've seen. Like some people have shared some of these pictures and stuff, even though they're not really supposed to. I'm not a paid member, so I don't have these pictures myself. But anyway, people are sharing them, and it's not really showing that much. I think really the big giveaways on general area and stuff is the rain. And like at first it was like temperature because that's the only thing that they showed on the trail cams. And then you can kind of figure out cloud cover from looking at the pictures and kind of make some guesses based on that. But now you really have the giveaway, in my opinion. That is that rain. There are very clear indications of rain in those photos, and that really narrows it down. Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce that, Lorraine, but the Quabbin Reservoir. Now that's a big area, so I don't feel like that's narrowing it down too much. Um, but certainly in that area is where it would be, and you kind of have to narrow it down from there. I'm happy to like if somebody wants to send me an email, I'm happy to tell you where I think it would be in that. But yeah, that's the general area. In my opinion, like I don't want you going out there. Jeremy said it's going to be here, and it's not. That's my guess, though. But I do believe if you're in that area, you're going to be within striking distance, as they say. But yeah, obviously you have to get there this weekend, I think, because there's a lot of smart people in Massachusetts. You've got Boston, you've got MIT, you've got all those like Ivy League colleges there. Um, you know, they don't let dumb people in, right? So like those people are already there. And I think, like if I'm not the smartest guy in the room, so if I can figure these things out, those guys can definitely figure these things out. So they're probably going to be out there this weekend looking. So if you want to strike while the iron's hot, you better get on it. Oh, Fire Gypsy, cool. Yeah, I know a Fire Gypsy. She was really into the X marks the spot treasure hunt. I remember her. Cool. She said she won't go home without it. There you go. That's the spirit. That's the right kind of attitude. You need to bring that in with it. That's how I felt about the Forest Fin treasure hunt. Like every time I went out there, I'm like, I am not going home without this thing. And then of course every time I did, but that's the right kind of spirit you need. I love it. I love that kind of attitude. I don't know where she's looking, but you can. I mean, she probably doesn't know who I am and or anything, but you can tell her I would recommend um, somewhere like the northern side of that reservoir. That's my best guess based on cloud cover, temperatures, and in the rain coverage. Because there was a point yesterday where it was clearly raining in the image, in the trail cam image, and there was only some pieces of Massachusetts where the rain was current like falling at that time. Now, the satellite might not have been completely up to date. There's a lot of reasons to be suspicious of calling it definitive or anything, but I would say that if you're in that area, you're probably in the right area. I don't know if I can pinpoint it more than that. There's a couple of so the other thing, to remember is it is definitely on public land. They said that. So it's publicly accessible. And in New England, it's not like New England is out west where you have a bunch of BLM land. New England, basically everybody owns everything out there. There's a lot of people out there that own property. So you have very limited amounts of like actual public land, and by public land I mean like I don't know parks and game like wildlife management areas, things like that. So you can narrow it down by that considerably because like there's a lot of homes out there, things like that. So I mean it's not gonna like draw. It's not gonna give you like a 1 foot by 1 foot area. You still have to reason things out a little bit, I think, but that'll definitely narrow it down. I think this is findable. I think it's findable. I think it's findable this weekend. I don't see it lasting the full duration. I think it's going to be found this weekend, to be honest. Just because of the amount of people, like they're really playing this up in the media. I mean, why not? Treasure hunts are awesome, and because let's see, be a kid again. Like Goonies. I love Goonies. Goonies is one of my all-time favorite movies. I don't know if I mentioned that, but Goonies and Indiana Jones and might be a Mad Rush. It might be a Mad Rush, just because the area is getting a little bit lower. Like there's been treasure hunts in the past. They draw a lot of people out, and of course everybody has their own ideas. So just because there's a lot of people into it doesn't mean they're all like looking in the same direction. And like everybody has their confirmation biases, so like they have their own, ideas of where it would be. Everybody brings their own little thoughts into it, so um, it's not like everybody's going to be in one place just because it seems like they should be. But yeah, I mean the amount of places that you can possibly be for this is narrowing. So we got a little bit of space in here. That's kind of cool. Get some more definition in here. So it's probably a little early to be adding these details, but I kind of want to make sure that the face is in the right place here. This is basically the same, even though I'm using different techniques, I think, than what I usually do with charcoal. Um, This is basically the same order of processes as I usually do. So like you start with creating some form so that you know where things are, and then you start bringing out some some details in that form, and then you get something that looks somewhat realistic. So these horse eyes, they do have like similar structure to humans, but there's definitely some bags here that are more pronounced than maybe humans are. Well, I don't know. People come in different shapes and sizes, so some people might have really baggy eyes. I get any shadows in here. These are nice. And then, if you get things too dark, you can always come back, you need a kneadable eraser, and bring out some things. So like I want this like little highlight on his cheek there. That makes sense. Anyway, I think that's a fun treasure hunt. I don't know if like it's really a puzzle per se because like it's not like they give you any clues. They give you images and you kind of have to figure it out. Now, I think that kind of stuff is cool because like there are like websites that you can go to. It's like where in the world am I kind of thing. And you're supposed to guess from the available things that are in the images where the person is, and those kind of things are fun. I can't remember the name of any of them off the top of my head, but I always enjoy them. Like somebody will post a picture, and the only thing in it is that they're on a road, and you see like one street sign, but it doesn't have any names on it or whatever. And from that street sign, you have to figure, oh, okay, well they're in this country because the colors are this, or you know, like even though like a lot of the traffic laws are the same across the world, there are these minor variations in different places and stuff. So um, maybe the cars are on the left side of the road instead of the right side, and you know that they're in jolly old England. Or I love things like that. I just like looking at a picture, and this is because I really like Sherlock Holmes type stories and stuff like that. But I just like looking at a picture and trying to figure out like what all can this picture tell me that maybe isn't completely apparent. Like I firmly believe. So some of the aerial shots, for example, have like these really large logs that are in the shot, and I feel like you could have pre-guessed that before that was ever shown just by the shadows in the picture. So like the shadows of those logs are in the trail camera before you ever saw the overhead picture. So things like that are fun. Like what all can I determine from this thing I've been given? A really nice shadow on this guy's face. All right, so that's pretty cool. Let me get a little bit more definition over here on this one. This one, the eye is off to the side, so you really just have to get these like little dark marks here. Yeah, it is fun stuff, Lorraine, for real. Hopefully we didn't lose Kid and Larry to the storm, but if you guys are out there and you had to hop off because of the storm, be careful, and I will see you guys next time. Hopefully the storm doesn't last too long. And last bad storm we had out here blew over a fence, like one of those like fences that you see in people's yards just to kind of separate you from your neighbors. The storm came through and blew over my fence. So like in the middle of the storm, I was out there trying to put the fence back up. Normally I wouldn't care, but I have dogs, so like I have to have them fenced in, or else they'll just be like running around the entire neighborhood. So hopefully you guys aren't dealing with anything like that, because that kind of stuff sucks. They're driving to New England now. Yeah, for real. So I was thinking about like I really do think that somebody's going to find it this weekend just because it's getting so narrowed down. But I was trying to like think like, man, if I could pinpoint where this is, how quickly can I get out there? And I think I don't know. like even a flight out there for me would take at least like an hour. I guess it doesn't really matter if I left like tonight or something like that, but I don't have the I don't have the kind of confidence to take a flight anywhere for any kind of treasure hunt. Even when I was doing the Forrest Fenn thing, I would drive out there. I would take a big old road trip, and that's just because I was like, well, if I change my mind, I can just turn around and head back. And I usually did. I usually started off with like a lot of confidence that I was going to find it, and then about because it was about a 20-hour drive, so like about 10 hours into it, I'm like, nah, this is dumb. You're a dumb person, Jeremy. You should give up now. But I'd still go out there, you know. It's just 10 hours into the trip, I would start losing confidence. Hey, kid's still here. Yay. It won't hit us until the middle of the night. It's raining cats and dogs and horses though. Great. Sounds like you got a barnyard of animals in your yard and rain buckets or I don't know what I'm saying. I love drawing horses. This is so much fun. Honestly, guys, you should really give drawing horses a shot. It's like, and so sometimes like I need the inspiration of what to draw. Like I can't think of exactly what I want to work on, so I go looking for inspiration. I'm like, you know, things to draw and such, and horses always pop up. It's like this kind of perennially classic thing to draw. Um, you have a couple of things that people are always drawing. People are always drawing portraits, people are always drawing figure drawings, people are always drawing animals. But when it comes to drawing animals, horses are things that are just like classic things to draw. So, those of you who are artists out there who are looking for something, give horses a shot, you know? Back in the day, that's what like Leonardo da Vinci drew one of the more famous horse drawings. He was working on sculpture. That's what it was, and he was trying to figure out how he wanted his sculpture to look. But he drew one of the more famous pictures of a horse ever. Leonardo da Vinci's awesome. Little snout. So I know I'm spending a lot of time on these details and stuff. It's just to get past them. I want to kind of get back into like doing the wispy horse body stuff, but I got to get these parts done enough first. We're like only 40 minutes in it. I think it's kind of fascinating how quickly you can get the basic shape of a horse onto a page. That's why I like drawing them. Not because they're like quick to do, but um, you can get a lot of done in a quick time. Drive is okay, but don't spend the money to fly. He did have to look that up. Yeah, so Leonardo da Vinci, I forget who he was doing it for, but he was commissioned to do a sculpture of a horse. I don't know if he ever completed it, but it was supposed to be like one of the world's largest sculptures um, at the time. And think like a horse on the scale of I don't know, like the Christ the Redeemer statue or the Statue of Liberty or something like that. I don't know exactly what became of that project. Like if he, I think he did make some miniatures, miniature models to kind of like work as the basis for the larger one. Yeah, obviously, I don't think he ever completed the larger one because we would probably see that somewhere out there. But somebody else can correct me if I'm wrong. Um, but I don't think he ever completed that. I don't know why. Like maybe the funding dried up, or maybe he pissed somebody off. I don't know. But yeah, that's Leonardo da Vinci was just like into so many different things. That's why I admire him so much. It's not so much that he was just a good artist, because he was a good artist. But you can look at like the Mona Lisa and be like, well, this isn't the best thing. It's not like a photo or something like that. But what makes Leonardo da Vinci unique is that he was a scientist before there were scientists. It's his observations that make him such a brilliant person. He he would watch birds fluttering, like birds flying and stuff, and he would like, I don't know, like slow the birds down in his mind and capture every frame of their movement, and he would draw these really detailed pictures of just bird movement. Um, and I thought that was so fascinating. He invented things before they were ever a thing. So like he invented, obviously I don't think he actually used it, but he invented one of the early helicopters, for example. He invented a tank, literally a contraption where people would be inside of it and roll around with cannons. Um, he invented these things long, like, you know, 500 years before they were ever actually a thing. I just find that so fascinating. He's just a fascinating dude. Anatomy. He didn't just draw people. He wanted to know how people worked. Like a real Frankenstein kind of guy. I don't think he actually dug anybody up and like, you know, like did autopsies on him or anything like that. But that's the level of his anatomical drawings. Like he would. I guess he had to have like done some of that, because like he did really detailed drawings of like bone structure and um like muscles and things like that. Obviously you have to like remove parts of the body in order to get at those type of things. So I think he did do some dissections at some point. He had to have, which, that's science. It's kind of a little bit morbid and gross, but he did it so that he would know how to like actually draw a person. He was curious what the bone structure was in order to be able to draw a three-dimensional realistic human. um hey MJ, how's it going? Thank you. Kid says, Jeremy, since you're so ahead of schedule, you have time to do a Sasquatch riding this horse. Maybe I'll put that in. Maybe. How do you know I'm ahead of schedule? There might be like a lot more I'm putting into this. But yeah, so like Leonardo da Vinci invented, for good and bad, different ways of doing art that was new. And I say bad because I think, like, he developed ways to do, like, I think they're called frescoes, the the murals on some of the walls, and I don't think they held up over time. So I think that was one of his like misfires. But it's still kind of cool that he did that kind of stuff. Like he didn't just do what he trained to do. He didn't just do what he learned from. I don't like. I assume he was an apprentice of somebody at some point. They all were, but he didn't just rest on that. He was a very inquisitive person who wanted to know how the world worked around him. Like I said, he's a scientist. He's not an artist. He's a scientist. Well before the time, you know. Like this was, I don't even remember when he lived. I want to say it was like 500 years ago or something like that. But it's fascinating to me. Anyway, I do need to like think about maybe getting a Sasquatch in here. I think that would be kind of cool. Jeremy, he was everywhere. Yeah, he was. Yeah, which I think is cool. I can't think of anybody else from history that was like him. Like I can imagine like a scenario where he never became famous. Like the Mona Lisa was not the world's most famous piece of art, or um, we never got his Vitruvian Man drawing, for example. And I can imagine a world where he never became famous, but he's still somebody who at the time was probably a great scientist, thinker, inventor. Like it'd be kind of cool to like live in a studio and just like see what kind of contraptions he's got around. You know how inventors are. Like, you watch Back to the Future, Dr. Emmett Brown, like the first one, he's got all those things in his place where he's doing all these experiments. He's got the little can opener that opens at a certain time and feeds the dog, and just little experiments around that. I imagine that's what Leonardo da Vinci had. So anyway, the whole idea behind this horse is he's supposed to be like smoky, like coming out of the smoke and stuff. I think we're doing a pretty good job here. You got all these different like muscle structures in a horse. You've got a little bit that kind of comes up into the chest area, and then like I've never seen a horse that didn't have muscular structure to them. Like they're all muscular. Like if you think about it, they carry around so much weight. They have to be. But that's one of the fun things about drawing horses. Like if you're into drawing comic book characters, so comic book characters, fun fact is they all started from people like artists drawing muscle men. So like Superman, for example, the reason why he's got the blue suit and he's wearing the underwear over his tights and stuff is that's what the muscle men back at the time, that's what they did. So like all the I don't know, Charles Atlas, muscle men, that sort of thing. The That's where Superman got his iconic style, and Batman and all of them. So if you draw comics, it's so much fun to draw like people who are like really really like muscular, and I I think that's why it's so much fun to draw horses because you really are drawing the underlying muscles there as well. So if you enjoy drawing people's muscles, you might want to give horses a shot. Hey Alvera, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Polymath. Leonardo was a Renaissance. Uh, I don't know what polymath is, but he was a Renaissance man for sure. Alan Kay says they just killed a horse in Ring of Powers. I forgot you were watching that. The commander of the Elves horse. Oh no, I didn't mean to trigger you, Alan. This horse is alive. Honestly, he kind of looks a little bit white. He could be Shadowfax. That's Gandalf's horse, for those who don't know. There's a couple of really famous horses. Um, Shadowfax, Silver from Lone Ranger. Well, famous fictional horses, I guess. Real horses, there's a couple of famous ones as well, like Robert E. Lee's Traveler. That was a famous one. Trying to think of ones off the top of my head, but I can't remember them all. But Shadowfax is definitely one of the more famous fictional horses. Black Beauty, that's a big one. I remember reading those books as a kid. I think those books were meant for girls, but I read them anyway. Black Beauty was a good book, or a good series. Hey, Richard. Artak, yeah, I can't pronounce that right. Artak's and Neverending Story was traumatic, for real. Seriously, yeah. When he got pulled, like spoiler alert, but when he got pulled into the pit and oh man, oh now you got me thinking about that. Oh yeah, that was traumatic. What's the kid's name in that? I'll tray you. I'll tray you. I remember the luck dragon. That's such an adorable creature. The big luck dragon dog, essentially. I gotta watch that movie again. It's been a while since I've seen that movie. I wonder if it holds up. Like sometimes you watch a movie when you're like a kid or something, and you come back and you watch it as an adult, and you're like really super excited about it because you have all these great memories of watching it when you were younger, and then it doesn't hold up. I don't think Never Ending Story is like that. I really feel like it holds up, but I need to go back and watch it again because it's been a long time since I've seen that movie. So, like drawing in this style is actually pretty straightforward. You just kind of, you move through the picture um kind of slowly, and you just kind of like let the charcoal dance on the paper. Oh, thanks, Richard. I appreciate that. Yeah, for those of you who might be new and stuff, we do this every Tuesday and Thursdays. Not all the pictures turn out great. Sometimes they don't really look all that great. But most of the time, we pull out a decent picture at least. But yeah, we do this every Tuesdays and Thursdays. The chat, they're great people. All the people in here are phenomenal people. I'm lucky to know them. Everybody gets along. We just chat about whatever comes to mind, you know, the weather, art, movies, books, whatever. Just hanging out, just having a good time. Rosanat, Rosanati? I don't know who that is. Trying to look like Ghost Rider Western version from the first movie with Nicolas Cage. That's awesome. Yeah, I like that because I mean, I don't want the horse to be on fire or anything, but I do kind of want it to look like he's coming out of smoke or something like that. So I got all this dark area in here. What I'm hoping to do with this kneadable eraser is kind of lift some of that stuff up and kind of get more of that smoky look. So if you see this like little mark here and stuff, that's another way to kind of get some wispiness in here. And I don't want to go crazy with it, but I do want to kind of like lift up some of these areas so that you got multiple layers of wispiness, like even out here and stuff. Kind of just do some streaks of light area. And this is a pretty sad kneadable eraser. This is I've had this for a while. I fidget with my kneadable erasers. Like even when I'm not drawing, I'll play with my kneadable eraser throughout the day and stuff. So this has seen some better days, but it doesn't take much. So you got all this like wispy stuff around. I like to put in a little bit of like actual solid lines that somebody can kind of grasp onto with their eyes. I'll probably like smudge all of that out so that it's not so liney. But they're just like little scribbles and stuff. Just kind of like little wisps of smoke. Just kind of blur them out with your finger or whatever. I do a lot of blending with my fingers. I know I've got all these like blending stumps over here, and I do use those a little bit, or like a lot actually. Um, but I'm also not afraid to like get dirty and like obviously get my fingers a little messy. How do you decide where the feet should live in order to make it look like he's moving, or is that not an issue? So I do have a reference picture. So I'm looking at a horse that is actually moving. That's a great question, by the way. Thank you. Um, so I'm looking at a horse that is moving, but also, as long as you get the proportions in there right, like you have the right size head, you have the right size body. When you have the legs, uh, I think so. I'm kind of a self-taught artist, so I don't remember all the right terms, but I think it's foreshortening. If you have like the legs here and you have this like short little bit of the leg here, and you have it kind of like at an angle, your mind already interprets that as a horse in movement, right? So like you have the longer leg here, your mind's not looking at this like, oh, that leg's too short. Your mind is looking at that as like, oh, that's a leg that's kind of curled up and stuff. So it's already showing movement. And then of course if you put in these wisps and stuff, that all just kind of helps reinforce the sorry, I'm drinking bourbon by the way. So like if I'm burping while I'm explaining this stuff, that's the reason why. But it all kind of goes together to create this movement on the paper. So I don't know if that answers your question, but hopefully that helps. But yeah, none of this is like I'm not drawing this horse from memory. I'm looking at a horse that is actually moving, and that kind of helps. I could probably draw a horse from memory since I see so many of them. Since you're new here, I'll say I live in Kentucky, which is like basically the horse capital of the world. There's like horse farms everywhere, so I see horses all the time. I think at this point I've drawn enough horses where I could probably draw a horse from memory. But also I don't believe that people shouldn't have to like torture themselves and make themselves do things like that. It's fine to look at a picture of a horse and draw it. I like the concept of draw what you see, not what you know. So like even if I did like have a great memory, which I don't, um, and I wanted to draw a horse from memory, I don't trust myself to draw an accurate horse from memory. I believe that people should draw what they see. So some of this stuff, like he's got a very light um uh like rump here. I'm actually gonna move that a little bit. And it's a little bit difficult to kind of like carve that out. So I want this part to be lighter than this part back here so that you can kind of see the dimensions of the body. I'm actually fattening them up a little bit. I think I drew that a little bit too narrow. All right. So now that I've got that, I'm going to use my blending stump so that it's really soft, but darken in back here so that you have a better separation of like body and I guess rump. I don't I don't know what the right term would be for the back hindquarters, maybe. I don't know. I'm not a veterinarian. I don't know horse anatomy. Thanks, Richard. Dope. Yeah, I appreciate that, man. When I draw, I need a lot of erasers. Yeah, I mean, you should get so Alan. If you do draw, get one of these kneadable erasers. They're a lot of fun to use, and they're really good for like picking up like so you can knead it into like a fine point, so you can see that like little chisel there, and then you can kind of make almost like these really fine lines. That's what I like about these kneadable erasers. Now you could use one of these erasers as well and just use the edge of it. I mean, that's fine. Whatever suits your fancy. John Steinbeck named his travel truck Rosinante after Don Quixote's spindly horse. Oh, that's cool. I like the story of Don Quixote. We are all of us tilting at windows. What? Not windows. Well, windmills. Sorry, that's the phrase. Tilting at windmills. There you go. Another pro tip: you shouldn't drink and then try to do a live show. That's I'm always misspeaking on this show. So, like, if you're new here and you want to continue watching me, just be aware that I always misspeak. That's fine. I don't consider this like an educational show. I'm just We're just hanging out, having a good time. If you happen to learn something from watching this, that's completely by accident. I kind of want these hooves to be shaded on one side. Like obviously I want the light to kind of push you in this direction. So same over here. A little bit not as dark as I want it to be. Here we go. A lot of people don't realize or like, it's highly undervalued the blending stump. You can use it essentially as a pencil, and it's so nice because it gives you these soft edges. Like when I say that I want to work on a smoky horse, you basically absolutely need one of those blending stumps to create that smoke effect. You can't really do that with pencil. I mean, you can kind of smudge things out with your fingers and stuff, but your fingers, I mean, if they're like my fingers, they're going to be like a little bit. You can't get the fine lines that you can with those blending stumps, and it's not going to look as soft. So I like them. I like using them as pencils, as drawing tools, which again I feel is completely underrated. More people should do that. You knew Jeremy is a badass, and you should say thanks, Alan. I appreciate that. Alan's pretty cool too. He's pretty badass himself. Everybody's badasses here. That's why we all hang out together. So again, like using the eraser as like a drawing tool. So through here, I kind of wanted to like add a little bit of highlight to the like I don't know what this muscle is, but I wanted to kind of lift it up. So you can use the eraser for that kind of stuff. And a bit of a highlight back here so that you really know where his neck stops. I'm always talking about how the task of an artist is to like convey information, right? So like you're a communication specialist essentially, and to different degrees. Like different artists have to communicate at different levels, but as a visual artist drawing the like just a picture on a Thursday night in YouTube and stuff, my job is to communicate a horse on this page that is surrounded in smoke. So in order to do that, I have to employ a bunch of different methods to pull that off. But I need to communicate where the neck ends over here. I need to communicate the body ends here and just kind of dissipates into smoke. I need to communicate that the body kind of fills out here, and then I need to communicate that the horse's butt, ass, I don't know what you want to call it, does extend past the midsection, I guess. So your job is to communicate all these different things in a cool, stylistic way. Hey, Willie, how's it going? Beautiful horse. Thank you. I appreciate that. Richard says, ever watch one of those hoof cleaning or reshoeing videos? Some crazy cool stuff. Not to draw so much. So what you're talking about is farrier stuff. Again, I live around horses and stuff. So I've actually done that before. It is crazy. Um, you have to come up behind the horse and you have to kind of like lift its leg up, and then you have a little scraping tool that you have to scrape all the gunk out. And the horse's hooves, most people don't realize this, but they're kind of like human fingernails. There's no nerves in here, unless so there's something called a frog, and that is actually that has nerves in it, but the rest of it is just dead material like fingernails or hair. Um, you can scrape all this stuff out without harming the horse at all. So that's what you're doing. You're kind of scraping out some of the dead material, and if you're like an actual farrier, this is something everybody who has a horse who takes care of them does. They clean the the hooves. But if you're a farrier, you're actually reshoeing a horse, um, you're basically hammering into the dead material. So it doesn't harm the horse at all. A lot of people don't realize that, but it is really fascinating. I agree with you, Richard. That is cool stuff. So putting in these little lines and stuff so it's not all blurred out. Your eye has something to grab hold of. If it's all blurred out, it's kind of like if you take your glasses off, if you wear glasses like me and stuff, like blurry is not good. You need something tangible to for your eyes to fix on. So I put in these little lines here. All right, so I'm happy with this left side of it. This is looking pretty good. Um, I don't want to put too much on this side, but I do want to kind of develop that a little bit, especially down here. So I will come back to that here in a minute. Just kind of want to add some little dark areas here. We lifted up some areas, so I think I overlifted it. I want some shadows in here and stuff. The other thing is you can use light to kind of control where your eyes are looking. So like wherever it's light, your eyes are going to start at. And then they're going to kind of move across the page into like the dark areas and stuff. So I want I want this here to be dark so that your eyes move into that area. Kid, you wanted me to draw a Sasquatch on his back. I don't think I can put one. I can kind of wisp in maybe like a little Bigfoot, like the impression of a Bigfoot, but I don't think I can draw a full on Bigfoot. I don't think kid's gonna let me off the hook until I actually draw a Bigfoot. So I'm gonna have to do that at some point soon. I'm here just for you guys as a request. Like I'm here to do whatever you guys want. So if I want you guys to make requests, I have to make sure that I do those things. Be on a mission. So I'm gonna darken this in there. Darken all of this in. Darken all of this in. Yeah, I think all that looks good. So I'm going to darken all this stuff in, and then I'm going to come back with my blending stump. First off, I think this is too dark, so I'm going to put in lift some of this stuff up here. Yeah, I think that's better. And then put in a few lines through here. Fix this a little bit. Kid's like, yep, I'll keep whining until I go Sasquatch. All right, we'll do a Sasquatch soon. Probably not during this one, but I will fit that in somewhere. The Sasquatch I want to do is the one that I saw on that back of that truck where he's kind of like laid out and he's got his hand up like this. Basically, like how Geppetto's maybe looking. I don't know. That's the kind of Sasquatch I want to draw. All right, so that kind of looks cool. Get some dark purple lines in here. Get some hair. There you go. I want you to draw me like one of your French horses. I think that would be my tagline. So like if I love drawing people's pets. So I thought that it'd be kind of cool to like just do that, not exclusively, but like primarily or whatever. I thought the tagline would be kind of cool to say like draw me like one of your French bulldogs. I don't know, maybe that's kind of dumb, but I thought that was cute. That's a great movie, by the way, Titanic. I love Titanic. That's a movie I can watch over and over again, and it's not like I'm watching it eagerly each time, but Just something in the background is filler or something like that, or you know, sometimes you're just relaxing on a holiday, or like you're stuck in bed because you're sick or something. You just want to put something on that you're gonna nod off in, or something like that. Titanic's a good one for that. Like there's some movies that you want to watch while recovering from Thanksgiving dinner or something like that. I think Titanic's good for that. I think basically all the original Star Wars are good for that. Like there's some movies that you've seen a million times. You don't need to see them again, but you still kind of want to watch them anyway. Not unlike Never Ending Story, which I feel like I need to watch this weekend. Just because I haven't seen it. I don't even know where I can find that. Like, is that streaming somewhere? Uh, MJ says, Jeremy, that looks great. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yeah. So some of these areas I kind of want to like leave as like actual defined lines. Other ones I want to kind of smooth out with the blending stuff, just so that they look smoky. You know, the whole idea is we're supposed to be creating a horse coming out of smoke. Maybe it's a foggy morn or something of that, or maybe it's a ghost horse. You know, you guys mentioned. Oh, Rome saw it. Said looking good too. Sorry, I missed that. Thank you, Rome. I like Rome. Somebody mentioned that this looks like the horse from Ghost Rider. I love Ghost Rider. There's there was some news lately. I don't know if they're making that in the MCU, bringing Ghost Rider into the MCU. I don't know. I feel like they talk about that all the time. I don't know if they're actually going to introduce Ghost Rider or not, but I hope they do. They are talking about doing kind of like a crossover event with Midnight Suns, which is like a supernatural kind of group in the MCU. So that would be your Moon Knight, some of your magic users like Doctor Strange, and some of your other supernatural characters like Blade and certainly Ghost Rider. I think that would be kind of cool. I don't know if they actually have plans for that, but I saw something recently where I think they're planning on doing that. Richard says they're remaking Never Ending Story. What? Oh no, I hope not. There's some movies that you can't remake, and that's probably one of them. Although, nah, I was gonna say CGI effects might be really cool in that, but I like the practical nature of that movie. Like, if they had a CGI Luck Dragon, that would suck. That is not good. Yeah, no, I reject that. That is not a good thing. We're doing on time. We're doing great on time. No, I do not want to see a CGI Luck Dragon or I don't know, some of the characters from that movie you can probably get away with being CGI. But the problem is they the problem with remakes is that they feel like like everybody wants to put their own stamp on something, so you're gonna get a different story out of it. Different story out of Never Ending Story. Um, Maybe a sequel would be better, not a remake. Like a reboot, that would be okay. I could live with that. I could live with like a reboot. But like a remake, I don't want to see that. I don't think anybody wants to see a remake. Um, is a is a like a reboot, like a sequel or something like that. You can tell new stories, but I don't want them to just redo the first story. I don't like that. I think this guy's looking good. So the lesson here, I think, is that you know, as long as you put your shadows and highlights in there, you can really create something that looks cool with very little detail. So like, you know, you can have something that's as grunged or distressed as like the smoke area over here, and you still get the idea that that is a horse's body. I like that kind of stuff where you just have like little hints of features, kind of telling the story of what's in here. Kind of along the lines of what I was talking about earlier. As long as you have, you know, the basic shapes here, your mind fills in the blanks. You know, your mind already has determined that this is a hoof that is in motion. You should do a painting of Peyton Manning. Oh, Peyton Manning on a horse. You'd win the internet. That's great. The book is awesome. I've never read the book, Never Ending Story. I've only seen the movie. I didn't even know there was a book. You know, like books are always better anyway, but I had no idea. Like, was it based on a book or did they make a book after the movie came out? Because a lot of times they make books based on the screenplay or like the early version of a screenplay before they mess it up. Like, I feel like a lot of the movie adaptation books or like the books that are made in conjunction with the movie coming out, they're uh, they're based on like an early draft of the screenplay, and they're so much better than what actually hits the theaters. The book came out first. Okay, cool. That does sound like that would be a good book. I thought it was an excellent movie. Like I said, it was an essential part of my childhood. I don't think I've seen it in many years, but um, I would love to read the book version. Actually, now that I think of it, I would rather read the book version. I don't feel like this is a controversial statement. I think most people would agree. I would rather read the book version than see a remake in theaters. There you go. Because I think a remake would suck. Because that's what they do. So they you know, not all remakes are bad. Yeah, I don't want to say that, but so many of them are. And I think it's because they want they want some controversy so that people will go and see it. So they want to change something in a way that makes people angry. Um, so they do that one because they want to put their own stamp on it. They want it to be different than the original. But then also they want to make sure that people go and see it. So they want to create something that would cause news. And one of those would be a completely redesigned Luck Dragon, and I'm not having that. I don't want a completely redesigned Luck Dragon. I want a practical effect Luck Dragon that looks adorable. I don't want some crazy CGI mess. Yeah, I think this guy's looking pretty good. Um, there might be a few more details, but I think the gist of him is already in here. This is looking pretty good. I might put another 5-10 minutes into it, but I'm pretty happy with it. I like pictures that are stylized like this. I don't always do these, um, but I want to. You know, like sometimes I do a picture that's pretty straightforward and like there's no style to it really. It's just like drawing. Like if I'm drawing an animal, I want the animal to kind of look like the animal. But when it comes to when it comes to horses, I always want to put like some style to them because like I go to these again, I live in horse country, so there's horses all around here, but there's also horse shows where people go and compete, and there's like actual like vendors out there and things like that. Um, oh, and like all the art fairs around here, they always have horses as well. So I always see people do these stylized horses, and I never want to just draw a straightforward horse anymore. I want a horse that actually looks like it's in motion, it's doing something, it's looking cool. My dog's back there coughing up a lung. Like this guy does look like he came out of a Ghost Rider story. I think Ghost Rider is supposed to be on like a motorcycle, but you know they do all kinds of different adaptations of those stories, and you know, like a motorcycle is basically a mechanical horse anyway. So to have Ghost Rider on a horse, that makes sense. Lift some of that up because that's a bit much. All right, let me get more wisp. And again, you're just like basically dancing on the page to create smoke. And you can always like go back to the well. So all I'm doing is taking my blending stump and you know, I've got two blending stumps. I got like a larger one and a smaller one, but I'm just going and grabbing a little bit off of this like little charcoal stick. And then, you know, you don't want to overdo it because then it's just all gray and stuff. You want like these like little wispy lines up in here. You want them to go in like different directions and stuff, but let the dance the guard like control like where they go or guide the way that they go. There you go. Anyway, I like it. I think it's cool. Badass man. I'll be back. Thanks for chatting. Yeah, I'm probably gonna hop off here in a minute so you're not missing much. But I appreciate you stopping in. You know, if you haven't already, I can consider subscribing. Again, I do this every Tuesday and Thursday, so I can't promise that every picture I do is going to be great because I am a self-taught artist and I am in the process of like learning myself. But if you're willing to go on that journey with me, I've been doing this for a little while and I really enjoy it. Hopefully you guys do as well. Uh, I encourage people to draw along with me. So like if you are an artist yourself, um, spend some time drawing while I'm drawing. That'd be kind of cool. Anyway, I think this guy kind of looks cool. I think this is probably a good stopping point. We're at the hour and 30-minute mark, which is a little bit, a little bit less than sometimes, but I always like to keep it under 2 hours. So I think this is probably a good stopping point. This guy looks really cool anyway. And when you're doing like a stylized picture like this, you always run the risk of overworking it, which I don't think we're there yet, but we run the risk of it. So anyway, horse coming out of smoke. Hopefully you guys think this guy's as cool as I do. All right, guys, I'm gonna call it an evening. Maybe I'll come back this weekend if I have the time and do that Sasquatch. I think that'd be kind of fun. We'll see. Anyway, appreciate you guys hanging out with me on a Thursday night. Hopefully you guys have a great weekend. Alvira says if there's a remake of the Never Ending Story, it will be living up to its title. Yeah, for real, that would be cool. Um, Never Ending Story. Keep doing remakes forever. That'd be great. So hopefully you guys had a good time hanging out with me. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Larry says Jeremy Smoking Horse looks great. Thank you. I appreciate that. For those, I was coughing up a lung. For those of you in the path of the hurricane here in the United States, hopefully you guys stay safe. Uh, if they tell you to evacuate, make sure you evacuate. There is no sense in, you know, harming, putting yourself in harm's way, especially over material goods. You know, it's not worth it. Yes. You all right, buddy? Dog's coughing up along. Um, yeah, Larry, stay safe. It's getting really windy here. Be safe, everyone. Yeah, for real. All right. So with that, hopefully you guys enjoyed this. I will take a picture of this. I'll post it up on the community tab so that you guys can check it out in greater detail because there is like some cool detail in this and stuff. So anyway, I will be back on Tuesday. You guys stay safe till then. You guys have a good time. Thank you very much. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I will see you guys on Tuesday. Bye. I always like ramble at the end and stuff, just drag it out and stuff. I'm sorry about that. Anyway, I'll see you guys on Tuesday. Say bye, Bear. Okay. Bye, guys. Thanks.